Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Yuyarni from English Language Education at Kuningan University. Here, I will explain about the relationship between student movie watching habit and listening skill to fulfill the assignment given by Miss Endang. Have you listening? I will explain about the point that I will explain. The first, rational. The second, research objective. The three, literature review. The fourth, method. The fifth, finding and the discussion. And the last, conclusion. We start the first material, namely rational. Everybody has learned their language since the will children, especially their mother tongue. The processes occur naturally and properly with a view to communicate in social environment. The first step in process is listening. Improve student listening skill, however, it has been debatable whether language skills are learned or acquired. According to Carson, 1928 to 32, said that language acquisition is different from language learning, with the former being more important than the latter. According to him, language acquisition important than the latter. According to him, language acquisition involves observational process in which a person is not aware of the page that her or she according a language, and it results into a subconscious competence as in first language. They will people understand this input is influenced by several factors, including that attitudes toward to the input and the export that gave. Research objective based on crescent input hypothesis is in the theoretically possible that movies can provide comfort in input basically and acquisition and development of listening skill. There should be a positive relation between movie watching activity and the listening skill. In addition, this research was beneficial practically in the content or for the student. They can solve their listening problem. The lecturer, they can provide an alternative solution to the problems in teaching listening by using movie as media in language learning. And the further research, they can use the finding of this study as an of their reference. Literature review. A number of research had been conducted in order to find out the correlation between student activity in watching movie and listening skill. First, 2008 was success to prove that there was a correlation between students' habit in watching movie and their listening skill. The findings of her research showed a moderate correlation between the watching. It was a positive correlation, which means the more students watch movies, the more they improve their vocabulary mastery. It can be concluded that the research above gives some contribution to the research. Therefore, the research will see whether is there any correlation between student habit in watching movie and listening skill. As the habit is forming, it can be analyzed in the three parts: the cue, the behavior, and the reward. The cue is the thing that causes the habit to come about. the trigger of the habitual behavior. This could be anything that one's mind associates with that habit, and one will automatically let a habit come to surface. Based on Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary in Dahmarul 2050-31, somebody something that you can hear. To take notice of what somebody say to, that you follow their advice or believe them. The listening activities develop a wide variety of listening in details, inferring meaning from context. That exercise often requires completing an authentic text with listening, such as taking missing word in complication item, text of the song, or taking telephone message. The difficulties in listening may come from the listener, the nature internal, or from the characters of spoken language external. Aside from learners' internal problems, there are also the external problems that come from the speech itself. Spoken English language has special characteristics which differentiate from written language. Research method. In this research, the research used a descriptive correlation reason. According to Gay in Nurul Hidayah, 2016-23, correlational research in research study that involves collecting data in order to determine whether and to what degree a relationship exists between two or more quantifiable variables. The research presented the description of the data dealing with student habit in watching English movie towards student listening skill and their correlation. The variable of this research was student habit in watching English movie, and the independent variable X and student listening skill as the and dependent variable Y. This result used random sampling, in which the participants were randomly selected. The research took 30 of 20 of 1 on 2 students as a sample of this research. Regarding to the different research data, research instruments may be different from one to another. The research instruments that were used by the research were questionnaire and the test. The questionnaire consent two sections. The first section aimed to collect the respondent background such as gender, age, length of exposure, preferred genres, and preferred media in watching. The second section was the main questionnaire that aimed to measure the response habit in watching English movie. Finding a discussion. Beside from the respondent background, the first section of the question also describes the respondent preference in watching movie, namely the preferred media and genres. The findings show that the most used media was a digital media file. Action was the most preferred genre, chosen by 73% of the respondents, while fantasy and animation were the second and the three most preferred ones, chosen by 50% and 46% the respondents. The second section of the questionnaire contained 20 question statements. 20 were the main questions which school respondents were used in determining the questionnaire score, while 2 questions were used to determine the subtitle language used by the respondents. The findings show the total score were 2,216 points. The average score was 73.86 and the highest and lowest score were 80 and 86, 86 respectively. From 30 respondents, 20 respondents choose to use Indonesian when they watch movie with subtitle. Meanwhile, 10 respondents chose to use English. The listening scores were obtained from the listening the results. Their score will expect to reflect their listening skill variably more accurately. The findings show the total listening score was 2,240, with the average score was 74.67. The highest score was 85 and the lowest was 60. Conclusion: there were some findings found based on data of student questionnaire score and student listening score hereinafter formulated to find out the value of correlation coefficient. The result of coefficient correlation between two variables was 0.444. That result indicate that there is moderate correlation between student habit in watching English movie and their listening skill. This statement was proved based on the result Rx was higher than the RT 0.444 graded 10.306 in significance level 5%. It showed that the null hypothesis, who there is no relationship between student habit in the alternative hypothesis, one, there is a positive relationship between student habit in watching English movie and their listening skill is accurate. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.